In this lesson, we're going to be setting up the animation for our enemy character. Now, one thing we're going to need for this is the animator controller. Now, the animator controller is an object that we can use to visually set up animation sequences as well as their transitions. So one thing I need before I create that is a folder to put it in. So I'm going to right click, create a folder, and I'll call this one animators. And then I'm going to open it up and go ahead and create a animator controller. I'm going to call this enemy anims. And then if I double click on it, it'll open up the animator window. Now if I hold in Control and Alt and left click and drag, I can sort of pan around this, and I just want to have these things visible to me. Next thing I'm going to do is go over into the Models folder, and I'm going to select our enemy over here, and I want to go into the Animations tab. Now, you might be in the Model tab, in which case you need to go ahead and click on Animations so you can see all of this stuff here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the second animation here, which is Move Forward. So I'm going to select that. Now I can change some of the settings for my Move Forward animation. And what I want it to do is I want it to loop. So I can go ahead and click on Loop Time and Loop Pose. And now it should loop fine when I decide to run it. One thing to note is that you can also preview all these animations just by clicking the play button down here, so that's cool. So you can go through these and see what they look like. They're all fairly similar for this, but the Move Forward one is the one we're going to be using right now. So I've gone ahead and checked those two things for our Move Forward. I want to go ahead and apply those to the FBX. So save them. So press apply. And now what I want to do is find the Move Forward animation over here. And I believe they're in the same order as they are here, so the second one should be, and it is, Move Forward. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop this into the animator window, because this is our animation we want to be using. Now, if I go ahead and attach my animator to my enemy, and you can see right here at the top there's an animator component with a controller space available for us to put an animator controller on. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this, and I will drag and drop my enemy animator on to that. Now, if we, I'm also going to go ahead and change this a little bit. I'm going to move the animator over here, just like that, because I don't really care to see the game view. I just want to see these two views here. If I go ahead and play this, and go back to the animator, you'll see that the animation is continuing to play. This blue bar that's filling up is sort of where it is at in the animation, and you can see it's looping back to the beginning and playing over and over again. Now, if I go ahead and turn off the lighting in here, and we find our enemy, you can see that yes, the wheels are spinning. It looks like our enemy might have caught up to the player here. So that's very cool. Looks like we have our animation looping and just continuously playing. So that's nice. We have that now. But we don't want the wheels to keep spinning when our enemy is stopped. We want them to slow down when the enemy slows down. We want them to speed up when the enemy speeds up. So we're going to have to do some of that through code. So I'm going to go ahead, go into MonoDevelop, and I want to go down to the bottom here, and we're going to make a new function. So it's going to be another void function. It's not going to return anything. And I'm going to call it adjust animation speed. So adjust animation speed. And what I'm going to need to do is also create a new variable. This is going to be a animator variable. We're going to put the animator controller into animator, and it's going to call it enemy anim. And let's go down and go ahead and put some stuff into this function. And the first thing we're going to add is going to be a print statement that's going to give us the speed of our enemy, so navAgent.velocity, and we need to convert this to a single number because we want to, we want to get the speed. And a vector 3 is what the velocity returns, but it'd be nicer to have this as just a single number, as in the car is going 55 miles per hour, something like that. So I'm going to say dot magnitude, and that will basically convert this vector 3 into a single number. And close that out. Okay, so we have that printed. Let's go ahead and call this somewhere. And now the reason why we want to know the speed of our enemy is because we're going to be changing the animation speed based on the enemy's current speed. So okay, I'm putting this function in the pursue as well as in the patrol. Let's put it here as well. Okay, so we have it in both those places. So this print statement should be called pretty much constantly, since we're in either one of those states all the time. So I'll save this and go back over here, let it compile. And I'm going to try to get a little closer so we can also watch the character move around as we're watching the numbers change down here in the console. So let's finish compiling. Just move a little closer, and we'll press play, and we can watch the speed down here. Okay. Cool. So we can see from the numbers down here that there is some speeding up and slowing down. I believe it slows down once it gets closer to the waypoints, or also when it gets up to the target, of course, then it will just stop. So it looks like the max is about 3.5, and that makes sense because if we go over to our enemy and we check out the inspector, we can go to the navMeshAgent component, and in this component there's this thing called steering, and it says for speed 3.5, so it makes sense we are getting 3.5 as the max over here. Cool. So now, that animation looked like it was pretty good, but maybe it could go a little bit faster, so I think I know what we're going to do for the next line here. What we want to do is we want to affect the enemy anim.speed. We want to change this based on the speed of our enemy, so I'm going to say equals navAgent.velocity.magnitude divided by 3. So basically, when our enemy is at full speed, this will be saying 3.5 divided by 3. So it'll be a little over 1. So it's going to be going a little faster than it is right now, because it's probably going at about 1 all the time. And when the velocity is at 0, so when our enemy is stopped, then this is going to return 0, and then it's going to set the speed of the animations to 0, so it'll just stop. So if we go ahead and save this, and go back over here, we can sort of watch this take place. Go ahead and find our enemy again. Try to keep up with it. And let that save, compile. And I'm going to play this. And we need to make sure we assign references. So I immediately got an error there. And if we go down here, yes, we do need to assign our enemy anim. So drag and drop that, and it will have assigned the controller that was up here in the animator. I'm going to go ahead and clear this. Okay, now let's try that again. So those wheels are spinning along quite nicely. And it should be going after the player, hopefully soon. If not, we can always go get seen. Let's just go ahead and do that quickly. So here I am in the game. I'm going to go run over to this guy. Hey, I'm here. Follow me. Track me down. Okay, and it does look like the wheels do stop. If I move forward, the wheels start rolling. Very cool. That is working. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson.